and in a way the ocean is sick because of pollution, and we really don't know what the extent of the problem is and what kind of damage this is going to take in the long term.
It's been proven that these pollutants, PCBs, DDT, other hydrophobic pollutants, stick to plastic. It's also been shown that pollutants will desorb from the plastic into the tissues of animals. They eat it, and the pollutants pass from the plastic into their organs. They're attracted to fats, so there's a perfect synergy for the pollutants to pass from the plastic into the organs of the animals. And Chelsea's now working on the next step, which is when fish in the open ocean eat plastic, do those pollutants desorb into their tissues?
Beautiful.
Yeah!
It's a big fat sushi.
I did a really controlled study in the lab of dietary exposure of plastic. So I fed them plastic that had been in the ocean for 3 months and then plastic just straight from the factory. And we found that they did actually eat the plastic. We looked for toxic effects, so we found some interesting stuff with them where they were losing weight. Some of them looked like appeared to be anemic. We found some single cell necrosis in their liver and different problems with their thyroids, and so still working on a lot of that data. But the persistent organic pollutants that we look for in plastics that we're talking about, they definitely have what we call endocrine disrupting effects, which are problems with reproduction. So your endocrine system is what controls all the hormones in your body. And so some of these persistent organic pollutants basically mimic our natural hormones and then disrupt our normal reproductive system.
I maybe thought that we use too much stuff because I was geared towards thinking about consumerism, but the idea of plastic never crossed my mind. I used plastic bags at the market. I used disposable coffee cups. It didn't cross my consciousness.
Well, I started years ago as a kid sailing dinghies and always had an interest in the sea and ships and boats, and just seeing larger chunks sailing and occasionally come across a patch of trash and shit, that's not very good, but you don't realise all the little bits when they're breaking down that it's there like on the whole.
So I got interested in this issue because I read about Captain Charles Moore and his research that he had been doing in the North Pacific garbage patch. He compared his findings to zooplankton, and his information came back that he had 6-to-1 ratio of plastic to zooplankton. Now, I don't know what the negative effects of that is, but I know that it isn't right.
So this was a real eye-opener for me, seeing that the issue is really difficult to see. So that inspired Marcus and I to start the 5Gyres Institute, with the goal of expanding that research on plastic in the North Pacific, which people are starting to know about, to all 5 oceans.
Everyone nowadays wants everything instantly. It's an instant society. Got to have it now. Instant Wi-Fi, instant everything. So everyone wants their instant coffees, and no one really worries about their little plastic cups. Oh, it's only 1 cup.
The life cycle of a piece of plastic, it starts off as these nurdles or these virgin plastic pellets, and they mold it into, say, a plastic bottle. And then let's say the plastic bottle gets out to sea. So plastics don't biodegrade, they photodegrade, which means the light breaks them down into smaller and smaller pieces. So once it gets out into the middle of the ocean and it's floating around with the sunlight breaks it down into smaller and smaller bits.
As soon as it comes out of the river mouth or the sewage outfall pipe or whatever and goes into the ocean, it's plastic in the ocean. The gyres simply are just machines driven by weather that create a circle that collects it. Gyres are natural phenomenons.
I'm part of a society that does not take responsibility for its own waste.
Look at that.
Wow, that's a lot. That looks like a nurdle, and that's a nurdle right there.
I mean, they're getting more dense.
Much more colorful. Mostly white, like we usually see, but
some blues and red.
Blue, red.
Something about the colours of plastics, like this theory, or I don't know if it's proven.
Yeah, well, certain animals can be attracted to other colors. When you look at the stomach contents of the Lysan albatross, you'll find overwhelmingly more white plastic. Okay. And it may be because they're drawn to that color because it's a food source, or it mimics a food source, or because they're foragers. They're looking for food from the surface, and what they might spot first is white. It stands out against the color of the ocean.
To windward! And beyond!
It's just amusing.
Wait a minute! Can we get Chelsea and you to do this in
It's just amusing.
I really want to see see you guys work together on a little show.
There's one hand Maisie, one hand Clip Lady, and chocolate coconut.
Wow.
Chocolate coconut. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.